GCC central banks raise interest rates in line with the U.S., and the UAE Central Bank launches its digital currency strategy. You're watching the Daily Brief with Forbes. I'm Ramia Faraj. Most GCC central banks have raised their interest rates following the U.S. Federal Reserve's decision to raise rates to a 16-year high. The Central Bank of the UAE raised the base rate applicable to the overnight deposit facility by 25 basis points from 4.65% to 4.9% effective today. The Saudi Central Bank raised the repo rate and reverse repo rate by 25 basis points to 5.5% and 5% respectively. The central banks of Qatar and Bahrain also raised their key rates by 25 basis points. Meanwhile, the Central Bank of the UAE has inked a deal with G42 Cloud and R3 to implement its digital currency strategy. The first phase should be complete over the next 12 to 15 months. It comprises three major pillars. The first is the soft launch of mBridge to facilitate real value cross-border CBDC transactions for international trade settlement. The second is proof of concept work for bilateral CBDC bridges with India. And the third is proof of concept work for domestic CBDC issuance covering wholesale and retail usage. Egypt's Suez Canal Economic Zone has partnered up with Abu Dhabi Ports Group to execute projects in 3 ports within the area. AD Ports will develop projects in the ports of East Port Said, West Port Said, and Al Arish. Earlier this month, AD Ports announced signing a 30-year concession agreement worth $200 million to develop and operate Egypt's Safaga port terminal. The finance will be directed toward superstructure equipment, buildings, and other real estate facilities and utilities network inside the concession area. Almost 1 in 6 Americans moved at least some of their money as a direct result of recent regional banking failures, with 10% moving all of their money. That's according to a Morning Consult poll. The collapse of SVB and others shook confidence in the banking sector. The poll of nearly 2,200 American adults found most transferred their assets to regional, local, or digital banks. The Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation insures up to $250,000 in each bank account in the event of a bank failure. Asian shares spiked today and the dollar slid after the Fed hinted it could pause interest rate hikes into the future. Hong Kong led gains, adding more than 1% thanks to a rally in tech firms. Shanghai, Seoul, Taipei, Mumbai, Bangkok, and Wellington were also up. However, Tokyo, Sydney, Singapore, and Manila slipped. Oil prices, meanwhile, fell back after a recent rise as traders worry about rate hikes and a possible slowdown in economic activity. And those gains in Asia are reflected in today's Forbes Real-Time Billionaires ranking, which tracks the daily ups and downs of the world's richest people. Our second biggest winner today is Hong Kong-listed Tencent's Ma Huateng, up $3.6 billion with net wealth of $39.1 billion. Our biggest winner, though, is Elon Musk, up $5.1 billion with net wealth of $191.9 billion. And our third place winner is Gautam Adani, recouping some of his wealth, up $2.8 billion and now with $50.3 billion. Check out our website and our social media for all of the latest Billionaires news. Relativity Space's 3D printed rocket lifted off for the first time today, passing a key milestone, but its second stage failed upon reaching space. The California-based company's 110-foot-tall Terran 1 rocket is 85% made of 3D printed parts. Upon reaching space, the rocket's second stage engine appeared to briefly ignite but failed to achieve thrust, ultimately failing to reach orbit. Officials say while it didn't make it all the way, they have enough data to show that flying 3D printed rockets is possible. And the SEC has charged actress Lindsay Lohan, YouTuber Jake Paul, and 6 other celebrities for promoting cryptos on social media without disclosing that they were paid to do so. The charges come as part of a case targeting entrepreneur Justin Sun for marketing Tronix and BitTorrent crypto assets without registering with the relevant authorities, and for manipulating crypto trading on his platform. Without admitting or denying their guilt, Lohan and Paul agreed to pay between $40,000 and $100,000 in fines. I'm Ramia Faraj. This is the Daily Brief. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.